Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing on this Thursday, 12:28 a.m. Eastern Time? Reminding you, July 19th at the cutting room. I can't say it enough, everybody. This looks a little schmutzy. I should have cleaned that lens. Oh, what are you gonna do? Maybe I have one of these lens things. July 19th, cutting room. I can't believe that's even here. Before we begin, I'm going to tell you a story I was watching. It's called Quentin Tarantino describes or discusses the, by the way, these are great, Zeiss lens wipes. Great for not only this kind of stuff. Pardon me, I know this is going to be rude, but sorry. Isn't that better? They're so good for this to get the schmutz off. Never ever have any kind of lens coating on your glasses. Never do that for glare, because the lens coating cracks. This is the best stuff. This is really good. This is really good stuff. In any event, I was watching this thing on Dirty Harry, and it was something which was so interesting. It's about why it's so important. And what people don't understand, for reasons I don't understand, but for what people don't understand, is that I love to discuss what is happening in terms of themes. I'm not here to discuss whether the theme is warranted. I'm not here whether to say that the theme is a good idea. I'm just telling you this is what it is. This is the theme. This is it. And what people don't understand, they don't want to grasp, I guess, out of this whole thing, is that there's this this idea that you can fight reality. Let me give you a story, and before we get to the issue at hand. There is a fellow named Zoran Mamdani. You may have heard of him. And he is the darling of many, many people in the left. And the reason why is because of one thing he said. And what people say what they forgot to notice was that he said, upon being mayor, they asked him, what country would you go to? What country would you go to, or words to that effect, or I don't know what the hell. Anyway, what country would you go to? And he said, everybody said they would go to Israel. Now, for the life of me, I'm thinking, this is the easiest. What country would I go to? I'm the mayor of New York. I'm the mayor of New York City, knowing what these people think now. Well, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to go I'm not going to go to France. I'm not going to go to the G7. I'm going to stay here. But he said, everybody else said, I'm going to Israel. And Mamdani was the only one who said, I'm not going to go to Israel. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to work on your rent. And when people heard that, they said, I love this guy. Even though there's no way you're going to lower the rent, and even though he was the only one who seemed to even talk about something that most of these people, they believe. Now, he didn't win by an overwhelming majority. But nobody wants to discuss this. When you were running for office and you say, the first thing I'm going to do is to go to a foreign country, why? You're telling me right off the bat, and not just any foreign country. Sorry. There's a lot of folks right now who say, you know what, I'm kind of Middle East out. By the way, Middle East is a code word for Israel. I am not that way. They are that way. Only a moron would miss that one. Only a moron would miss the opportunity you had to answer the question and just say, first and foremost, I'm the mayor of New York City. The only thing I'm concerned about right now is what is the most important thing in the world, and blah, blah, blah. You understand that? It's the most critical thing. Now, the other thing was, which is the most interesting. Remember, I'm telling you the way it is. I'm not telling you the way it should be. I'm not telling you the way I wish it was. I'm not. I'm telling you the way it is. People are getting there's a real move here. Because while the Fox News crowd says, here's another one too. They're bringing up the fact that Mamdani used the word intifada in some reference, whether it's a speech or an address, and they think that somehow this, it might switch some people over, I guess, but this is not, people are not walking up and down the street saying, did you hear what he said about intifada? They're not. It may be to you, not to me, not to people, not to people I'm running into. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell you, understand the mood people are in, which leads me to the idea of Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry was one of the most important movies of the longest time. Dirty Harry was 1971. And at the time, it was the first time it went from kind of bad guys, criminals being almost lauded. It went from Serpico, the honest cop. It went to the fact of the police officer being used almost, dare I say, as a vigilante. And people loved it beyond anything you've ever seen. And the reason why people loved it, and the reason why people thought it was so great, and the reason why people loved this was because it was at the right time. And Don Siegel and all these folks knew how to read it. Quentin Tarantino has some of the best reviews of this and why it's important and everything. So what I do, as I'm telling you, I sit back and I'm saying, I see the theme here. And one thing I am seeing, like other people, is that conservatism, this kind of dare I say, I want to call it Fox News conservatism, Rush Limbaugh conservatism. Good, valid, but antiquated. We need to revamp this thing. You need to really fix this. And a lot of folks who, as you can imagine, are finding themselves thinking, no, I like it just the way it is. If you're going to win against these people, if you're going to win against the deep state, the police state, the intel state, the shadow government, the ruling class, if you're going to really go up against them, you're going to have to do everything in your power to beat them at their game. And the way you're going to beat them at their game is to realize that saying things and talking about intifada and Israel, this is the most important thing in the world. This is the most important thing in the world. Such fascinating subjects of ophthalmology and laser surgery, and this is so interesting. Where did this come from? Where did this... This is so interesting. Susie Bailey Kupti has a wonderful piece, a wonderful disquisition on... My mother went 17 times after her laser eye surgery. How did we get to that? It's a very thorough, it's a very interesting topic. Don't get me wrong, I think it's fantastic. I just wonder, this is so interesting. By the way, for whatever it's worth, if you want to talk about that, which is fine, I have the development of a, what's the word? I had the development of a cataract way out, kind of in left field, so to speak. And it's out there. It is a posterior subcapsular cataract. It's out. And it's not causing any kind of, vision. But as and it may be like that for a while, but I don't know. But if it ever gets to the point where we go in, then we have just lens transplant and cataract, and you can see almost see fine. You know, laser surgery, they always say, you'll see 20/20. Not necessarily. Just one of those things. I wanted to lend my piece because we're talking about cataract surgery. Remember the old joke, the Asian joke, a cataract, a Rincon Continental. Remember that one? It was one of those things. In any event, my friend. So we're moving on down the line, and we're moving away from this. And I'm looking at the various stories today. And what I'm saying is that what the president is doing and what everybody is doing is they are missing completely the issue, the newest issue regarding, and the critical issue regarding Epstein. Epstein is everywhere. And the president got miffed. It's what everybody's talking about. Everybody is talking about. I've never seen something either handled so deliberately bad or so pathetically negligently bad. Isn't that something? People are furious. They are furious. And the best part is Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi is speaking utter gibberish. Well, I said the file. He's almost like telling you, I never said I would do this. Let me see if I can explain this to you. When you create an issue out of nothing, when you create an issue out of nothing, you basically tell people that this is something you didn't worry about before, but I'm going to bring it up to you. And when I'm going to bring it up, you're going to see it this way. Say, you are such an idiot for doing this. You are such an idiot. You don't understand. Acosta in Florida said he's intel. Why are people not understanding he's Mossad? He's CIA. Say it. You are creating a momentum. Once and for all, we say, yeah, that's what Mossad does. That's what we do. I can't tell you what we're doing in terms of everything, but being an intel agency, you got to know exactly what's going on in the rest of the world, and that's what we're doing. And if you got a problem with it, that's fine. The stories, when they introduced that film yet again, it reminded me, I think I told you, I said this yesterday on the air, it reminded me of the plane going into the Pentagon. They actually introduced a picture, a plane, actually looked like a cruise missile, flying into the Pentagon, and they actually used that as a basis for, in the past, I'm trying to think, I don't know how long this happened. In the past, there is such a, I don't want to say Israel, it's a Bibi Netanyahu momentum on the part of the left, Jewish left, American right, Steve Bannon, this, but I have never seen a conflation. People who never, ever saw eye to eye on anything even remotely involving what am I trying to say? Remotely involving Israel. Now that's all they're talking about. And the people who keep going on TV who are the worst emissaries, like, go away. You're making this work. I am hearing people saying things against Israel, not because they are anti-Semitic. That's another thing too. That term has been used to the point of just, it doesn't mean anything. You created this out of nowhere. You thought that somehow this wouldn't backfire. And it started with Gaza. Gaza changed everything. And they don't understand it. They just don't understand it. And they're saying, because I don't see it, that's just the way it is. So anyway, so we've got that. Epstein. The president better get in front of these things because he thinks, I mean, his group is one thing, but the rest of the world, if he just wants his Republicans, look, there are groups of MAGA people who are going to love him no matter what he does. No matter what he does. But if he thinks he is going to somehow find himself, I guess the word is, if he thinks he is going to win the hearts and minds of the world, he's crazy. There is a woman named Albanese. Have you seen her? She is the rapporteur for the UN. One of the most brilliant women ever. And for reasons I don't understand, there are people who insist, I'm going to go on and I'm going to debate all of these people who are either pro-Palestinians, pro-Gazan, anti-Israeli policy, not anti-Semitic. And they keep going on these shows. And nobody ever is acquitted well. Nobody. Whether it's Dershowitz, whether it's, I don't know who, the Oxford-trained barrister, they think somehow they're clarifying this. And they end up going on these TV shows and they're talking over each other. It is the worst thing ever. Do me a favor. Stop talking about it. Stop. There are people who have been, for the first time, involved in issues regarding Gaza and the like, who never should have been brought in because they're jumping at the last minute. They know nothing about history, and they find themselves in the position right now. I mean, I can't say this on air. People don't want to hear this. But why did you bring this up? Nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear what you're saying. Nobody wants to hear what you're saying. The Rooster said, Newsom is already campaigning. Do you think? Do you think? Do you think? Rusin is pretty sharp on this. Gavin Newsom is already campaigning. Do you think? This will cost him the midterms. I don't know if that's true. Never repeat something that everybody is saying just because everybody's saying it. I'm not saying you are, Mr. Rusin, but it sounds kind of like you are. Good day, mate. You might need a new flag. Under your flag has a gold fringe. That's the Corporation of America representation of the flag. Oh, stop that. Please stop that. Nobody understands that. Nobody cares that. The fringe has been a part of it. No, please, please. I know what you're saying. Don't bring that up. Takes too long to explain. You end up looking like a fool. Nobody wants to hear it. I'm just saying. Any social media person in favor of Trump right now should be blackballed. Any social media person in favor of Trump right now should be blackballed. Blackballed by whom? What does that mean? Trump should triple down on the economy. If the economy is going well, a year from now, the GOP takes the midterms. By the way, Kiri, you're not offending. You're not offending. This is one of those things that every now and then somebody says, America is not really a country. It's a corporation and we're shareholders or something along those lines. And it's like, this is the same thing all the... Nobody knows what this means. It sounds good. Sounds good, but nobody really cares. Alexander's offended. I like that. Stop seeding people. They are not stupid. I think they sort of are, maybe. I don't understand why people are still going on talking about Israel. I don't know. Why is this Dave Smith or whatever it is? Why is he interviewing? Why is Dershowitz? Why is anybody saying enough? Just let it go. Americans, don't bring it up. Half of the Israel problem today is because people decided they were going to debate this on American. Nobody cares. Americans don't care. Americans don't know anything about this. Just let it go. Let it go. You see what I'm saying? Why are you bringing this up? People they think, well, this is my world, my sense of clarification. Can you imagine them saying that what's his name should be disqualified because he used the word intifada? Okay. You think that's going to work? Takes too much. What's an intifada? If you ever have to explain a position, you're losing. You understand that? Has Australia, by the way, Kirian, has Australia gotten their shite together? I hope they have. I understand that. JM says the movie is about sadomasochism. What is the movie? What movie are you talking about? Who? You know, I say this a lot. Is it Dirty Harry you're talking about? You think Dirty Harry's about sadomasochism? If that's when you write something and you say, "Oh, I know what a Dirty Harry is," somebody reading this along the line is not going to know what you're talking about. So put a little descriptive, explain. Or if you say ha 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 or LOL, we don't know LOL for what. You got this? Will the DC flooding cleanse the swamp? The movie is full of Videodrome. What movie, JM? What movie? Again, this is just, I read these and I'm thinking somebody might be just reading this later on and saying, what are they talking about? That movie was Tightrope? Okay. All right. So much for jumping into this. Anyway, today, I'm going to be kidding. I'm going to be talking about some stuff. Jeffrey Tubin is back. Jeffrey Tubin, author of The Pardon. This is a man who was caught masturbating on a Zoom call. And hey, what are you going to do? Now they're going to be talking about Brennan and Comey. You think anything's going to come of that? You think anything's going to come of that? I tell you what they didn't do. They didn't line everything up, impanel a grand jury, release the indictments. No, now they're announcing this is what we're going to do. Whatever happened to secretly doing it the old-fashioned way? Just secretly doing it. They're not going to get Comey. They're not going to get Brennan. Don't even talk about it. Rusin says a sticky subject. Get it? Get it? Get it? Lubin Tubin. Pagami News says, I'm fixated on Epstein. Are you fixated on Epstein or the Epstein topic? Seems deflective, Justin says. What seems deflective? What are you talking about? Again, how many times do I have to say, explain what it is that you have to? How does he still have a job choking the chicken zooming? I don't know this. By the way, this is the most important story in the world. What is the story about Jeffrey Tubin and the masturbation Zoom story? Let's see what chat has to say about this. What do you say, huh? In mid-2020, October, during a virtual strategy session hosted by The New Yorker with participants from WNYC, Tubin believed he had muted his webcam. In reality, he was still visible to colleagues. He proceeded to masturbate on camera, an incident others witnessed live. Tubin described it as a disaster in his life, his self-inflicted self-destructive. He apologized, stating he genuinely thought the camera was off. Immediately suspended by The New Yorker, fired in November, and then he took a leave of absence from CNN's legal role, returned in mid-2021, labeled his behavior deeply moronic and indefensible. How is it? Explain this to me. Maybe you can. I'm going to ask you the question. When was the last time you were on a Zoom call and became so overwhelmed sexually, erotically, that you said, I have got to start playing with myself now. I can't wait. I have to do this now. And has that ever happened to anybody? Is that ever? Anybody ever said, I've got to do this now? I am so aroused. I am so tumescent, so turgid, so beyond piqued by this that I can't take it anymore. This is a Zoom. I'm sitting in a chair. I'm not, there is a camera, hearing these voices, the subject matter, seeing people with their heads, the camera's not. And somehow this moment is so arousing, so incredibly fascinating that I have to relieve myself now. It is demented. I'm going to be talking about that. Hey, join me. By the way, go to Lionel.news. You see that? Lionel.news. That's my new not my new URL. Lionel.news. You can reach me, find me, subscribe to the private channel, Lionel.news. Is that a great name or what? Lionel.news. I love that. Lionel.news. Lionel. Let me try it again. Lionel, L-I-O, or Lionel, that's how people say it. Lionel.news. Lionel.news. There we go. It's fantastic. It goes right there. Anyway, my friends, listen, everybody have a great night. I hope everybody, I'm up. I'll be napping a little bit later. It's a very strange, it's a very, very, very strange world that I live in my particular time, but a lot of people are in the same ways. I'm nothing special about that. Remember, napping is a key to life. So anyway, jump on over to WABC, WABCradio.com, 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 or I think on the 77 WABC app, you can get this, or you can use some of those other apps as well to hear me from 1 to 5 a.m. It's something, my friends. It is something. So anyway, have a great and a glorious day. I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much for being a part of us. Thank you so much for being a part of our family. And thank you so much for giving me such a feeling of real, I don't know, just satisfaction in talking to you. It's a great gig. You're terrific. Anyway, I love you. Have a great and glorious day, my friends. Be well. Talk to you later. Don't forget, Monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue ya. Go over now to the radio. I'll be on in about 5 minutes. See ya.